all in queerdom, the millennials and Gen X's are mourning Paul Reubens, aka Pee-wee Herman, today in the past few days because a documentary came out about him. For the younger people, like if you're under 35, my sister doesn't remember him at all, and she's 35, or no, 36 now. And that's really, you'll see why, but there's a reason for that cutoff. But Paul was gay, closeted, because you had to be in the late 80s, early 90s. He made a show that was very subversive, like a child show, but wink, wink, naughty, jokes in it. And it was for adults. CBS said, hey, why don't you just make a child show? And children show, brain. Anyways, so he did. It was called Pee-wee's Playhouse. He played the character of Pee-wee Herman, which, according to the documentary, I think was drag, which is really cool. Anyways, this show was so hot. It was crazy. Cyndi Lauper did the theme song. His Christmas special, he had Oprah and Cher. In his general cast, he even had, I think it was Lawrence Fishburne playing Cowboy Curtis. And so, I mean, it was really, and Phil Hartman playing Captain Carl. So it was very, very popular. It's a very subversive, loud, fun show. It's on, last I knew, still Amazon and HBO Max. And HBO has, restored it. So if you'd like to see what it's about, you can go do that pretty easily. There's clips online on YouTube, etc. For instance, one episode he danced to the Peggy Lee song Fever. Fever when you hold me tight. And he's wearing crystal high heels dancing a silly dance to it. Can you imagine that today? People would freak the fuck out. And he apparently, in another episode, he does similar but different song. He married a fruitcake, wink wink, as a closeted gay man. And he also, in the Christmas special with Oprah and Cher, added a fruitcake chapel to his house with two very muscular gay men working on it. And it's, when you see it, you're like, God damn, he did not go subtly about this. But what came crashing down, sadly, was, remember, computers are pretty new. Internet's brand spanking new for the general populace. And he had finished filming Pee-wee's Playhouse. He went on vacation, visited his parents. Fuck his father, for the record. And he goes to the only way to really masturbate at the time if you wanted material. You'd have a magazine, a video, or you'd go to a theater. And the Vice Squads were always at these theaters. Yes, that was a real thing well into the 90s. And they'd catch you if you dared touch your dick. Of course, it was almost always men. But what? You had to be over 18. You were seeing a filthy movie involving some kind of fucking on screen. And God's bless him, he was smart enough to choose a straight porno. And they claim he, touched himself there. And it's like, he's a children's entertainer. And he's at this filthy place. And he got his dick out, allegedly. He claimed, at least up to the documentary, he didn't really go into details in the documentary, but he claimed for years that he didn't actually do anything. And, whether he did or not, I don't care as an adult. Girl, you go enjoy you. I mean, what's the harm? I don't see any harm there. That's not affecting children. He's not taking his dick out on TV. Come on now. Or Toys R Us, Michael Jackson style. And yes, this was around the time Michael Jackson was finally being correctly accused, though depends by who. But anyways, so the show was already over, but people thought they dropped him because of this. And CBS stopped rerunning the reruns of his show during the summer. And this guy was basically crucified for, according to the police, allegedly touching himself in an adult theater. Okay. Yes, the 90s were terrible. Thank you for noticing. There were fun parts, like the show is fun, but the morals were just in the shitter. And So that basically just absolutely destroyed his career and also destroyed the illusion that Pee-wee Herman was a real person. And so, just awful. He wanted to fight it. His lawyer said the quickest way to get this over is plead no contest. And so he did. And as he put it in the documentary, he said my mugshot looking like or Charles Manson. Because, of course, when you're a TV show host and you're a man, you're always shaving, always cutting your hair. So he looked the opposite of that. And then he masterfully started coming back from that. He went to the MTV Awards and said, hear any good jokes lately? He was seen on a fake date with Carol Keane, which I am very interested on her thought process on that whole idea. And then he got another girlfriend who considers herself to have been his girlfriend but was platonic. And I guess in this day and age that wouldn't really be questioned. But, you know, he came back and then he did Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie. And apparently in his contract, he insisted he had the right to dress himself like his mugshot photo, making this even funnier because one of his last on-camera appearances was in What We Do in the Shadows as that character in the vampiric console. And, you know, I'm ashamed to say I didn't recognize him in that because I was so young. I was like 3 when this went down. And on top of losing Jim Henson, you understand why I am what I am now. Then it got worse again. He's coming back. He's doing all these great little things as an actor. Murphy Brown, being in an Elton John video. Then the police raid his house and claim he has child corn. I'm going to say corn because I don't know how this, And he absolutely goddamn not had child corn. And basically he stopped cooperating with the documentary when it hit this point because it's very clear to me as somebody who suffers from it, he had CPTSD. And specifically, he had a lot of anxiety around how they portray him with these arrests. For the record, the ending to the child corn story is that the DA was about to drop it. They're a day away from dropping it. And then the ambitious asshole, I'm going to find out, I can't remember his name. I hope he's just nothing. Fuck that guy. I'm going to find him and write him a letter and say, you're an asshole. He wanted to charge the corn and then indecent, obscene material because the whole thing centered on vintage gay porn. And it was one image where they all agreed, even the DA, that the person in it was over 18, but it was obscene. So that's when you start realizing Paul Reubens was actually crucified for being gay and daring to express himself in any manner as a gay man. My son's meowing. And after that, he really just kind of faded away. And by the time he came back again in 2011, God, I so resent myself for not going to see it when he brought Pee-wee, the original show, back to Broadway. Only in a few years would he be diagnosed with cancer, and he died 2 years ago. So, in his final message in the movie, he says he just hopes that people understand who he was, that he sure as shit was not a child corn owner, and that maybe he did life right, maybe he did it wrong, but he wasn't that bad, and it really devastated him to be accused of that. So please, when you remember your gay heroes, your queer heroes of history, remember Paul Reubens.